Okay. I don't know why this person did this. All right, so let's start. So first we have our iPhone status bar here. Figma has Figma has iOS components that we can use. So we really don't need to redesign this. We could just come here, search for start us. Yeah, so you can see status bar. So I can just drag and drop here. So it's always I've never resized this thing before, but I wonder why it's always 941. I'll check one day. Like the default is usually 941. So let's set I think I'll prefer 428. That's the width. There's no preference, so there's no right or wrong. You can use whatever screen size you want. So you have your devices here. If you want iPhone 16, 390, you can make your width 393. If you want, so you can use whatever. I just prefer, for some reason, I just prefer iPhone 14, 428. Yeah, but you can always use whatever you like. Cool. Yeah. So I have this. Let me change my background so it seems to be more visible. Yeah. All right. So let's do this next. Because I have. Okay, let me see if I can get one. Icon scouts. Let me see. I want to see if I can get the main Instagram. This Instagram icon. I think this is the old Instagram view actually. So the current Instagram might not look this way. Yeah, okay, well, lucky. Okay, I was just checking Instagram's current screen. All right, so we're lucky to get the logo. Let's make it black. Mm, let's take the width down. So whenever you have any question, just ask. Let's take this down to about 36. Okay. Yeah. We might not get these exact icons, but let's try. Mm, let me use Lucid. Let's use Lucid. So let me see. Add. Okay, so I'm not looking at. I'm not trying to make it perfect. So I'll just work with what I have, whatever I have. So hearts, and the last is charts. Most likely will not get this exact icon. Yeah. Let's use this. This looks closest to it. Cool. So if you notice what I'm about to do next, instead of grouping these three, yeah, I'll intentionally make it. So instead of aligning and grouping them, yeah, what I'll just simply do is to select the three of them and add auto layout to it. That automatically becomes a group and it becomes a frame. Auto layout is a form of frame, but just responsive frame. Yes. So that's why we use most auto layouts for so many things because it works just like a frame. So I can leave it. So all I have to do is to drag it here also. Select the select both the frame and the icon, add auto layout to it. See, everything is responding automatically. Get and because this gap, okay, let me explain this gap. Gap is basically the spacing between them. I could adjust the gap manually and say, no matter what happens, I want the gap in between this icon and so the logo and the icons to be 80. I could make it 100. So irrespective of whatever size, let me make the size 420 so it's more visible. Irrespective of whatever size I make the width of the frame, I can adjust manually the gap. So this is the gap of auto layouts. I can manually adjust it. I could say I want it to be 50. Then I could just change it to auto. So once I make it auto, if I adjust the width, it's automatically adjust the gap in between them. You can see automatically. So now let's what are we doing next? Okay. Let's let's auto layout this one with this guy. So I select this top one, that's the status bar, and I select my Instagram bar. I don't know what's called that part now. And I add auto layout to it. So now with one entity, I can adjust the spacing between them and call this 24. Okay, let me add the color to it so it will be more visible. So white. Okay. Now there's something called padding, or you could call it margin. So that's how much space you have on both sides. How do you get the status bar quickly? So I was explaining that Figma has assets. You can see iOS, iPad, 26 UI kits. You can see Material 3 design kits. You can see Figma simple design system also. Yeah, so I could just, or like normally this is how your files look like. It's on files. You can see your layers, your pages. So if I come to assets, I could just search for status bar and it gives me status bar. I can then drag it in. Let me make it more interesting. Let me search for what can I search for? What do you call this stuff again? Mock-up, right? Alright, no, not mock-up. Screen. Yeah. So you can see the screen. I search for screen, I can drag it in. So now I have iOS home screen. Again, so asset basically, I think I've not spoken about asset enough. So on your assets panel, you can get a lot of things. You can get so many assets that you might need to Google or download. So what it does is, this is your, I think this is the liquid glass. Yeah, you can speak today. Did you want to say something? Sorry.
Okay,
Okay.
so yeah, I want to. So now the assets bar. I want to understand something. You can't just search on iOS or maybe screen and then it just shows you only iOS stuff. It could show you random stuff. So how is it streamlined that whatever you search is showing you stuff related to iOS alone?
Or you can filter if you
It
like,
could
you
have
can
shown you
filter.
Android.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You could filter. Yeah, it actually showed me.
Okay, okay,
Let me search for status. Okay. It gave me two options. Okay, they are both iOS. So basically, since iOS is a device, like a design system or kits, meaning Google does not have. Okay, Google has actually. They have Pixel. Okay, yeah. So basically, what I just mean is you can filter here iOS, so to give everything just iOS or material, give everything just material. Simple design system, give everything just simple design system. But because I already knew this was
okay.
iOS, like you can see the name of the kits under it. So that's why I just knew it
All
was iOS. All right, so let's continue with
right.
our layouts. You're welcome. Alright. All right, so let's go. So I have my status bar up here. So I was talking about padding on both sides. So there's horizontal padding, there's vertical padding. Horizontal padding is basically your margins on your left and your right. Yeah. Vertical padding is the padding on the top and bottom. Yeah. So if I add a padding, let's say 16, it automatically adds 16 pixels both sides. So there's 16 pixels here. There's 16 pixels here. I think we can still add a little more. Let's make it 20 instead. Yeah. So is that cool, right? Sorry. Don't raise your hands. Just ask a question whenever you ask questions.
Okay, sorry. It should not look as if I'm just
This time, yeah, sure. No problem.
cutting you short, right? There's something that I was initially when I learned as a process to designing any interface at all. But I've noticed
Mhm.
that of recent, most designers don't usually like follow through that process. Even I stopped making use of it, and that's grid layouts.
Grid, yeah. So there's really no need for
So I
grid.
don't know
What the
why do people stop using like starting their process with maybe making the grid first,
yeah.
because I believe that it helps you with all this padding, so you know where you start from on the left and where you stop on the right,
Mm.
stuff like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the point or the reason why that happens is once you understand how auto layout works, you basically don't ever need to use grids again because everything is automatic, meaning everything is now responsive. And then just by adding 20 pixels on both sides, what grid will have given them to them do something? Um 428, where are you? Yeah. So this is your regular frame that I just created. Yeah. If I add if I add the layout guide to show how long it's been a while I've used grid, I could add a layout guide. So I could make it columns, I could make it a four system, I could add margin on both sides. Basically the same thing that I'm doing there. 20. So basically we're doing the same thing here. Okay, I could add
okay,
on the gutter could be 12 or something. Let me see. Yeah, so this is your grid system. Yeah, but if I know that, all right, if I try to make it responsive, sure it works. But if I know that by using auto layouts, I could create everything perfectly. Okay. If you notice the name before I selected it, it's called layout guide. The purpose is just to guide you. It's not exactly it's not contributing to your frame. It's just a guide.
design.
Yeah. So it's not doing anything. It's just guiding you. Yeah. So
Hmm.
once I understand how once you understand how auto layouts work, you don't need that guide again. It's more or less like um Google Maps. The first day you're going somewhere new, you use Google Maps. But once you are familiar with how it works, you basically don't need that guide again. So Google Map is no longer
True.
used for that point. So that's how layout grid is. It was useful when it was not auto layouts. But when you have auto layouts, everything becomes simple. I could even add them make it interesting. I could add the layout grid here on this guy. Column for margin 20. You can see that it's perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that means I don't need instead of doing this, I Autolat is doing all that for me already. You
Okay.
get?
Fair
Yeah. So
enough.
let's
Yeah.
quickly. Yeah, sure. You're welcome. Thanks for the questions. I appreciate them. So I have this part ready. So let's do this. This look cool, right? Cool. Right. So to do this, all we have to do is to create one. So let's create one. So I create my circle. So the first circle before the image. Let's create another circle. Let's duplicate it, Control D, and enlarge it. So this other circle would be for this color. I don't know what to call it. The color. So I remove the fill and add the stroke. All right. You understand to this point, right? Let's make it 2 pixels thick. Yeah. So now let's add the color. So I change it to gradients. The black. Let's change black to yellow. I think the three color gradients. First is yellow. Hold on. So the three color gradients. So that means I have to add one more in between. There's like a reddish. What do I call it? There's a red in between. So I come here, pick red. Yeah. And come to the last one and pick purple. Yeah, so we have something like that. I think I don't like how it fits, so I just slanted it a little. Yeah, so I think this looks cool. So let's add the name. What font are we going with? Let's just enter. So Oliver. Oh no, let's use the name for the group. We have David. Let's use him. So I can group. Let me see. Hope none of them is an odd number. 94, 106. Give me a minute. Yes. So it's something I've not really thought. Is how your spacing. There's something we call. I can't remember what it's called. Why am I always forgetting names of things like this? So it's something we call like multiples, meaning you realize that most times, especially if you watch the tutorial, I was working with multiples of 4. Like my margins were multiples of 4, either 4, 8, 12, 16, 24, like that. Yeah. The size of my icons are usually multiples of 4, 24. Some people do multiples of 5. I personally prefer multiple of 4. So 36 is a multiple of 4. I did not adjust this. I just picked this up from iOS. Exactly. So what I want to do is the smaller circle inside. Yeah, I would want to make it, let's say, 96. You can always adjust that. Okay. Yeah, but I also want the circle to. I want the gap between the image inside and the circle to be multiple of 4. So instead of 5, instead of the gap being 5, I could add 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 3. That would be 3 times 4 is what, 12. Hope that mass check out actually. 12. That'll be 118, right? Nope, definitely wrong. Nope, my math was wrong. Uh, yes. Okay, one more step. And I was correct. Imagine. All right, so I can group the two. Yeah. So let's add the video. So I want to go to layouts now. So I select my image placeholder and the text and add the layout to it. So now it's a frame. Your spacing can be 8. Okay, not bad. This should be black.
Sorry. How can you go back? I missed how you did that. The ring around the circle.
Hmm.
How you got the gradients, the color gradients for that ring around the circle for the profile,
Okay. Okay.
like
So
this thing.
please be with us so we don't go and come again. Let me just pick this one. So what
Sorry.
I did was I changed, so instead of it being solid, I changed it to gradients. You know this, right? Yeah, I suited the angles a little. Yeah, with me. So I noticed
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
there are three colors: orange, this orange, yellow, yellow, orange, red to purple. Yeah. So that means you have three steps. So by clicking on this, you have a third option that you can change. So let's put in this middle 50. So I come to the first one. I pick the color yellow. I come to the next. Pick the color red. Then I come to the last and pick the color purple. Yeah. So in that case, I have my ring. So that exactly.
Yeah, thanks.
Sure. Thanks. You're welcome. So I have this now. If there's a high chance it's going to be too big, but let's just continue. So if I like, I could make it a component. If I like, I can leave it. I feel like leaving it. So let's not make it a component. So all I have to do is to duplicate. Let me duplicate like 4 times. Control D, Control D. Yeah, it's too big. So I can select all of them and add an auto layout to 4 of them. So let me reduce the size of each of these circles. They're a little big. Let's make it could make it 96. Open out to scale. So if you use scale, you can easily scale things down without disrupting their properties so much. So let's change the spacing between them to 20. Okay. All right. So let's do for this guy. Right? All right. So this is simple to do. So that's like for your story. You could just use any of them. So let's create your circle. Yeah. So I can import my icon. Let's just add. Okay. Upload. So I can bring this in. Okay. So let's add a circle around this. Please be with me so we don't. Yeah, you're not muted, Bio. I don't know if I have just say something. So I group both of them, Control G. Right. So I group both of them. I select the image that I created. Let me make it so it will be easier. So this is 96. Let's make this 96. This can be what it is. So let me change color to this blue. Yeah, and the black can be white. So what you can do is then align both of them. So select both of them, align left and bottom. Yet, I hope you guys are following me. Hope I'm not designing for myself. Left and bottom. What can I do again? Add the stroke. Well, can I say something?
The
Your mic is.
art story, like this for your story, is supposed to be like smaller than the other ones, right?
I don't get your question.
Like this new um circle you are designing now that you just put this add icon on it. I think it's a
Yeah,
little bit smaller than
it's smaller than this
the
guy's. Right? I'm
yes.
actually noticing this. Now that you mentioned it, I'm noticing. I think it's the same size with the inner circle, but without the ring.
Okay, yeah,
Like
I
look
think
at it.
that
This
yes.
the same size, but just it doesn't just have a ring
Yes,
around it.
yes, yes. It's the ring that makes it look bigger.
Yeah. So thanks for your observation. Actually, so what I could do is it's a decimal. Oh, I'll use that. I can use um paste. So it's going to be the same size with what is here. Then I align it with this. Yeah. Then I say I can take this guy down a little. I can make it 24. I make the outline one. Okay. Um, so I can once I have aligned bottom and left and bottom, the right and bottom, I can group them. Um, So for consistency's sake, yeah, let me just duplicate it. I will add the ring around it so that we can have the same size. I don't know if this makes sense. Let me align both of them. Yeah. So I have both of them together. Yeah. But no, it doesn't, it's not here. So what I'll just do is I'll just make the transparency of this circle 0. So it is still there, but you just can't see it. Yeah. So it's going to be the same size with this. So I can group both of them. I hope you understood the what I did. Right. So what I can do now is to drag this into here. I can delete this one. So that's the beauty of the layout. You can do a lot of drag and drops. Let me reduce the spacing between. Let me make it 12. I add one more. I will add one more. Okay. So let's change our image. So I have a plugin, um, user profile. Use everyone. So I could select all the circles where I need an image and just put insert random photos. Okay. Okay. It's okay. See this so I don't like how it's close up. Should make for Africans. Anyhow. So we have this profile, we have these pictures already. You got what I did, right? Okay. So now let me change the names. So where's everyone's name on the group? Where did everybody go? So we have David, we have Michael. So I'm noticing something. The font size is um 17. I don't like that. Um what's them? Probably like 20 more minutes. So 16. Well, let's use 14. The spacing is what 8. It still works. So we have Michael on the call. We have Mesoma. We have Olabaga. Okay, there was Tolu was on the call before. Okay. Tolu was on the call before, and who else was on the call? Let me just a random name. That DJ or something. Right. So we have this already. So then, how do we now put this into our auto layouts? Very simple. All we have to do is pick it up and place it in it. And it automatically fits in. You can also use your arrow key to adjust the position. Yeah. I think I can still take. Should I reduce the size or should I leave it? And I could reduce the spacing in between. The circle. Oh, okay, I get where the issue is. The weight is fixed. So let me adjust that. So this will be hog instead. So now the size of the frame will become the size of the elements inside it. Yeah, good. So I could take out the spacing in between. We can take about 20. Please, if I'm rushing or if I'm too fast at any point, please call my attention. Yeah. So I want this. Okay, let's add a margin on both sides. So our margin here was 20. Our margin here was 20. Let's add another margin here. Call it 20 also. So let me now prototype this part. We want this section to scroll on when you drag it. Like when you attempt to scroll it, you want it to scroll. Let's go this your story. Yeah, let's
Um,
go the
the status bar. Are you not going to adjust that too?
there's really no okay, what do you mean by adjust?
Like the way it's smaller than the actual.
Than this.
It's not aligned with the padding is not together with the other designs below. I don't
Well,
know if
the
you
reality
got it.
of this, I get what you mean. The reality of this is highly dependent on your device. Let me attempt.
Okay.
Hopefully, would it work? Okay, let me attempt playing.
Because I just feel like it's looking a little bit more closer together
Yeah. Sure.
apart
Sure. I
from
get.
the edges. Yeah.
Let me see if I can adjust. Let me just quickly switch to fit in automatically. Um, so you can see what I mean is the top. It's fitting into this part of the screen. I also think I can reduce the padding a little.
Okay. Okay. I think it's the phone you are using, the phone frame you used.
Exactly. So that I'm saying it depends on. There are some phones you'd use where this will. Let me attempt changing. Okay, it's even as you can see, it has other options. You can
Okay.
adjust
Yeah,
it
yeah,
here.
I noticed the
Yeah,
change. Yeah.
yeah. You can adjust. You can. What can you do again? Okay, if I change my phone device to probably let me use something smaller. Now at this point it breaks. What I mean
I,
breaks, it's that entering, so I have to manually adjust.
yeah.
If I want to put the type it's up front 30, I have to manually adjust it. So that's what I meant by it depends on the device you are working with. So you don't need to disturb yourself with it actually.
All right. That's fine.
Yeah. Uh, so we need to move faster now. So let me show the prototype. So once we make this interesting, let me add the padding up. Yeah. We want this to scroll when you drag it. Yeah. So I should not have closed it. When you do this at this point, it does not scroll left or right because you have not added any prototype to it. So what I can do is the first step to do is to first make the width. You can see the width is 676 because hug means it's containing the container, the elements inside the auto layout. Yeah. So if I change it from hug to fill, the width becomes the width of the frame I created, 428. So now you can see that it ends here. But it also means it's going to cut out. So if I click on this clip contents means so let me click on it. If I click on clip contents, what that means is it's going to show the excess. If I uncheck it, it's showing the excess elements inside the frame. If I check it, it hides it. Do you get? Yeah. Okay. So it's been more interesting. Okay, let me read this way. Yeah. So I can come to my prototype tab and I can see overflow. So it's asking me what do I want to do when there's an overflow. So I change it from no scrolling to vertical to horizontal rather. So in that case, if I scroll right now, interesting. Did you get that or should I do it again?
Got it, sir.
You got it right. What's it?
Please do it
Can
again,
you hear me?
sir.
I should explain again. Alright, so very fast. Let me start again. Okay. So do you understand it to this point where I filled the or let me separate it so it's easier to understand. So there are different your frames have something called width and height. So there are basic formats of creating your width. Yeah. You can either hug the content. If you hug the content, it looks at it checks the width of all the elements inside it and contain inside your it's more or less pouring water inside the bottle. So all these are inside the frame. So if I add one more element, like let's say I add one more of this, let's say I duplicate this, you can see the width the frame, let me call this story. The frame story it keeps increasing per every one I add to the frame. Do you get? So for everybody I add to the frame, it increases. If I delete any close on. If I delete anyone from here, it decreases. If I delete one more person, one more empty. If I delete one more, it reduces. So it was 676. If I add one more, it becomes 784. Yeah, that's hog. Yeah, there's also one called fill. So if I fill it, because this is inside this frame, this is like a parent frame. All these are like children frames to this frame. Them call it Instagram. So Instagram is the name of the parent frame. Yeah. Then this becomes a child frame to this. So if I fill it, it takes up the width 428 of the parent. So if I adjust this now, you can see I adjusted to 538. If I come here, it adjusts automatically to 538. So whatever I do to this Instagram frame, the weight of this Instagram frame, these guys take that width. Yeah. So when you want to create that scroll prototype, yeah, what you are doing basically is you're just setting the overflow states. It's just a switch of just a toggle basically. So you are setting the overflow state that okay, there's an overflow, meaning when I fill the container, some things are outside the boundaries of the frame. That's what we call overflow. So I can now say that okay, if you notice any overflow, cause an horizontal scroll. So if I play this now, there's an overflow, but you can't just see it because the screen is cutting it out. So if I adjust it, it now brings to your visibility what was outside. So anything here. So if I add one more, let me duplicate one too. You can see that it's adjusted automatically. I have a lot. I now have more. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right. So we don't have so much time. So that's this. So that's how you create. So let me change this to okay. I can just make the parent frame clip. So the clip content of the parent. That's how we do this scroll. So let's quickly replicate a carousel. So this will be I might be fast. So the same thing basically. So you draw your circle. Let me bring this down a little. You draw your circle. I change the name to what name can I use? What name can I use? I change the name to let's say um let's just Samuel. Like, what's there? Samuel. Yeah. Make this black. Um can I reduce this a little? Let's call this 36. So I add another layout to this. Make the gap 12. Can still take this gap a little to like 16 ish. Yeah. So I need this more button. More. Yeah. So I drag it in. I then add the another layout of the more button to this profile field. So Shift A. Shift A is auto layout. I just add auto layout to it. I set the alignment to center align. So not auto, so I can adjust the width. You can adjust the width. So let's make it 428, like the frame we're working with. Let's add padding 20. That's the first step. So the next thing to do is how to create the carousel section. Yeah. So now is now I now need to explain how to create carousels. So how to explain drag. No, what I did here was hold on. What I did here was scroll effects. Yeah. So now how to create a drag effect in such a way that if I drag my screen, it's not scrolling, it's more or less, you know how if you scroll your carousel on Instagram, you can't put, if you take off your finger, it will snap back to either where it was or where you are going to. So let's do something like that. So how do we do that? First, let's create our first let's use a rectangle. Rectangle. Let's just Instagram's new. So 1080 by 1350. So it's too big. Yeah. So let's take it down to, let's say, 360. Oh no, let's not guess. We can use the width of um um so if I select this to, the width is 388. So I just set this width to 388. Or what am I? No, oh sorry. I should set it to 428. It's taking the entire screen width. So let's just make it 428 rather. Why not push that? Yeah. So it's 428. You know those circles that are usually under carousels. So let's do something like that. So let's make it a 4 carousel. Let's make this 8. So 4 carousels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's really more interesting. So I pick up the circles. I add an auto layout. Shift A. Can adjust this to probably 8. Well, let's take it down a little. Let's say 4. Yeah. Okay, so what I can do now is to add an auto layout of this to this. Yeah, so of this rectangle, I add an auto layout to um the scroll, let me call it scroll bar. So add the auto layout, shift A, the gap, the spacing can be 20. Yeah. So let's color let's make the first one black. So it's more visible. So now I have my frame. Let me just bring it here so you understand what I'm doing. I have my first frame. So how to make this into a component. Let's create a component out of this. Right. I hope you guys will get what I'm about to do now. So I duplicate the how to duplicate the I duplicate the first frame. Do I need to make a component? Do I need to? Okay, there are two ways to this. Let me use the easiest way. So let's create this as a component. One. Should I? No, hold on. Before I make the component, let me create all the states first before I now convert to a component. So I create the second state. So that's the second screen, right? Let me create it 5 times. 3, 4, 5. Oh God, please let these people understand what I'm about to do. Let me change the color. Um, so I can change all this back to the original color. No, when you see what I'm about to do, you'll be happy. So this is second position. This is third position. This is fourth position. And this is fifth position. I make this black. Yeah. So if you get what I'm about to do now, you understand how these guys work. So okay, so you guys will clearly see what I'm about to do. Let me change the images in them. No. So let me call this. I think I use influencers in the regular influencer. So first one is this. Second can be this. Third can be this. No, you can use whatever you want. Uh, yes, yeah, so it should be more obvious what I'm about to do. That's why I'm doing this. Yeah. So what I can now do is to create a component set out of all of them. So what's a component? A component is they are like reusable assets that you create in your Figma file. So like the last class, if you remember, you create one button, you can duplicate that button multiple times. So let me select all the buttons. Let me select all the frames I've created, and then I create a component set. So what a component set? Just the same way in your button components, you have your default states, your hover states, and your press states, even your disable states and some other things. Yeah. There are different states of one component, meaning they are all one button, but different states. So the same thing I'm creating here. So I have here's my first state. These are like the first screen, my second screen, my third screen, my fourth screen, my fifth screen. So now all I have to do is now connect each of them together with prototype. So I click on this, I come to my prototype. So I link my first to the second, and I change the trigger to on drag. There are different triggers. On tap means when I click on it, it changes. While over means when I hover on it, it changes. While pressing means when I press on it, it changes. And the likes. Yeah. So let me put on drag. Same thing here. I can do everything at once. So let me first link them together. God. I hope you guys understand what I'm about to do. You can always watch this what I'm doing after the class. So let me select and drag guys. Oh, it's going to mess me up if I do it that way. Uh, um, hold on. If it's just, let me make it simple enough. I will explain the other part later. I'll do it after I do the basic flow. So I want to change all the triggers I selected. I change everybody to on drag. You get the direction is also going right. Okay, this can go left instead. So now I have my component sets. I copy the first one, or I copy the first one out of it. Um, so I attach it to this one. So I add an auto layout to it. Let's make the spacing 12. Okay. Change the image. Image female. Why? Right. Okay. So then I joined these two my new film and add it here. So what happens now is I should have set this to hold on. There's something I missed. I did undo. But now leave it. Leave it. Should work. So let's play our prototype. Let's see what we've done. We have carousels now. Hold on. Okay, what did I? Okay, the last page is. Why did it start from the last page? Smoothing. There's actually a better way to do this, but that will take more time. This it works to an extent, but not what I would have expected it to look like. Um, Let me start it. Page first screen. Okay, I think it's direction. I said the wrong direction. Yeah, should have been the other way around. Probably next class I'll show you how to now properly do it. Where to not this is the fastest way I could do it to prototype something. It should be right. Right. Yeah, okay. So it almost works. It actually did not work so much. It almost worked. Yeah. I'll probably fix that after. Get so the other ways to create the other ways to create this as what do I call it now? In auto layout. Let me see if I can do it. What's the time? Oh, we're already out of time. The other way to do it is to create the auto layouts, each frame, yeah, and then move them into each other, and then use that. What I should have actually done. That was actually I've done instead of this. So let me see if I can just hurriedly do it once. I think that probably that will be the last thing I'll do. See, I can disconnect. I can disconnect this. So we don't need this. You know. Let me. So I put them side by side, all the pictures, 1, 2, 3. Let me just use three so it's not be too long. I can have to lay out three of them together. Since this is already an auto layout, let me drag it in here. I can do this one. This is actually the proper way to do it. So let's fill it. This might be confusing. That's why I not did it before. Let's fill it. Let me change the images so you can see what's happening. Yeah, this is the best. This is the best approach actually. So you have. Let me add. Hold on. Let me add this small spacing between them. It should be obvious. Okay. No, we don't. That's not it. So we have our three pictures in a frame. Yeah. Let me clip it. Should I clip it? So there are different directions. Yeah. So I have my first state. No, before I duplicate it, hold on. Since I duplicated it again. Yeah. So I have my first state. Let me close this. I have my first state. I have my second state. I have my third state. So the ability just moving around. This here. If I'm not confusing you guys. Yeah. This is the actual proper what I should have done. So what I can do is arrange each of them. So I want this to be my first screen. This will be my second screen. So I'll align it to the center. And this will be my third screen. I'll align it to the end. You get so I can now clip each of them. I can clip this. I can clip this. Yeah. Then I can clip this last one. If you don't get it on this point, you can always revisit the tutorial, the video to be on YouTube. So I create a component set. I prototype this to this, the first to the last, the first to the second. I make a change on drag. Yeah, and then instead of moving, I use smart animates. Same thing for this. I should not have dragged. Not I should not use. Should not. It should be the frame itself. So this should drag on drag. Smart animates. This on drag also. Smart animates. Okay, I can do something interesting. So it's to be perfectly responsive. Let me horizontal. Let's adjust. Yeah. So I move this. I just duplicated the components. I don't like being in a hurry to explain things. Prototype. So I want this to change to this on drag. And I want this. I want this to change to this instead. To the first on drag. More like a loop. So let me do the same thing. Let me copy this first frame. Please work this time. And copy it here. So let's play our prototype. Let's see what I've done. It worked. Oh, it's working, but I think I missed some drags. So this on drag, this on drag, this on drag. Okay, this is not on drag. It should be on drag. Alright, so it's working. Once I attempt to drag, even though the sensitivity is weird, it moves. I can change duration to like 2000, no, to 1000. I'm sure you guys don't understand what I did, right? If you understand what I did, can you say hi? What's it? You did what?
I said I understood it to an extent.
Okay. But I feel once you watch this video again, I'll try just replace what I did. You should get it. Yeah, so it's better now. So on drag, it moves. Yeah, it's not as perfect as if you click on it, it does not change until you drag. It's not as perfect as a real life what like right now. A real life interaction, but it's the closest thing we have. So this one screws on its own. This one screws on drag. Yeah. What do you have? So you could use any of the method actually. So this is just more straightforward than this. So whichever approach you prefer, you can always use them. Do I need to do these parts, or will you guys complete it yourself? Like create the Instagram interaction itself. I'll share the link to this file so you can look through it. Let me add the padding on there. All right, because of time, I think I can stop here today. Yeah, so I think the takeaways of today, we talked about auto layouts or basic auto layouts, yeah, and we also did this carousel prototype. So I don't forget where was the charts. Okay, so probably next class we could look at the toggle switching and we could look at the toggle switching. Okay, then there's also a view detail. I get that part. All right, so next class we'll look at toggle switching and some other prototypings that might be complex but are actually simple.